No, it's not.
Yeah, me either. What's up, guys? Middle of conversation with Ben. Welcome back to another episode of Tribaholics. As always, it's me, Caleb Skinner at CHSNO on Twitter, Ben Stana at Ben_Stana on Twitter as well. Usually, we got our boy Christian, who is our other third co-host, who is not going to be joining us for back-to-back weeks. He'll be joining us this Saturday, but he's got some good news that he'll probably drop for you guys on Saturday morning. I don't want to go out and ruin it now, but he's going to be with us on a much more regular basis moving forward during our weekday show. We've got a lot to talk about, but before we start talking about it, Ben, let the people know. We put out a poll this week about what you were drinking tonight, and it'll kind of just slide us into, what are you sipping on? So go ahead, let everybody know how you're doing, and then let us know about this poll that you put out, so you did the damage to yourself.
Tequila. Put out a poll, tequila won. I'm drinking tequila. That's all we have to say.
Don't even want to put the brand out there or anything. Is it cheap? Is it good?
I mean,
tequila?
it's not.
What are you working with, dog?
It was like $23. So I was like, it says 100% agave, so it's not awful.
Yeah, I mean, tequila's tequila. You can't complain either way. So, more power to you drinking that. You're drinking it on the rocks. More power to you, brother. I don't know if I could do that. So good for you. Guys, if y'all are in the chat, let us know what you're drinking on while you're watching the show. Myself, I'm drinking a Gold Cliff IPA. It's from the Kona Brewing Company, really good, brewing company that I'm a big fan of. Big fan of IPAs, as most of you know if you've watched the show before. If not, I love IPAs. That's what I love to drink. 7.2%, high up there. Getting ready for the Bucks game here in about a little less than an hour. So super pumped about that. Let us know what you're drinking on. I don't know if Luke's even drinking because he's over there in freaking Britain or Europe or wherever the fuck he's at. And it's probably morning time over there. So he's probably drinking OJ or whatever. Already take a shot, Bennis. Take a shot, Ben. There he goes. He's going to finish the bottle by 8 o'clock. That's the move tonight. Get Ben to die, apparently, in Luke's word, by 8 o'clock.
Venus.
Over under for Ben dying before 8 o'clock. I think the under is looking like -175 and the over is looking at +150. Your thoughts on that, Ben? Are you going to make it or are you not?
I mean, I'm drinking like 2 shots, so I feel like I should make it.
Definitely, yeah, but you're gonna have to refill that sucker at some point. It's just gonna have to happen. You're gonna make a disgusting face every time. We're gonna have to cut you off. But yeah, man, let us know what you guys are sipping on throughout the show. We appreciate you guys tuning in. More coming in here saying hi to Luke. More is a big fan as well. Luke said the fellas. We appreciate you guys tuning in from both Twitter and YouTube as always. But let's go ahead and get into some news, man. A couple of the things that have been going down. NFL starting back up. This weekend, obviously tonight the Bucks are playing the Cowboys here in Tampa, which I'm going to end up going to the bar after this to go watch. But big news for, I guess Adam Fuller. Asante Samuel Jr. and Hamza Nasruddin, both named starters for their respective squads. Obviously, Nasruddin over there with the Jets and Asante Samuel Jr. over there with the Chargers. Asante Samuel going to start at corner 2, and then Nas starting at the Mike linebacker spot. So what are your thoughts on that, man? I saw it coming the whole time.
Asante's my fucking cornerback too, baby. Bolt up, baby. I'm excited. He's going to go lockdown mode. We got Derwin. We got Asante. We got fucking studs all over the defense. We're going to be good. We're going to the Super Bowl. It's over. I'm happy for Nas too. He's on the Jets. He did not have much of a good fate, unfortunately. But Asante, defensive rookie of the year coming. Watch it happen.
Yeah, dude, the Chargers got pretty much all the fucking Knowles, all the Knowles are in LA, all the good ones at least. If you look at the Chargers with Derwin and Asante and then Gabe Neighbors and all of them. And then over with the Rams, Jalen Ramsey obviously comes to mention, and then Cam Akers before he got injured and he's going to be out for the season. So they're all out there on the West Coast, which is awesome. But for Nas, I didn't necessarily see that one coming per se. I didn't know if Nas, how he was going to come back from that injury that he had. I mean, he came back at the end of last season, looked okay, but didn't look like his normal self. I mean, obviously the rust is going to have to wear off, but they're putting him at Mike linebacker. So, they're moving up in that spot. Any thoughts on that? Do you think he better belongs at safety, or is going to fit in well there with the Jets and at a linebacker position?
I don't know. I prefer him at safety. I thought he did well in coverage, but he's definitely got the size to do both. He's not as athletic or good, like as much of a freak as Derwin James. He's got this similar like mentality to him to where he can either play a linebacker or a safety. He's going to make a play regardless. So I think he'll do fine there, as good as you can at the Jets.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that team for sure. I think the Chargers have a little bit of a better opportunity to be successful in the NFL, especially with their young core. Whew, man, that face you keep making, baby, that's tough. Yeah, he's got a little bit of a tougher road ahead of him, Nas does. But, I have a little bit of promise and hope for the Jets moving forward. They got a good young coach, a good young core of players that have come in a decent defensive line. So there's promise there with them, and hopefully they do well. But into what everybody probably wants to hear about, and that's going to be our Notre Dame recap. So ended up losing 41-38 in overtime off of a missed field goal that has been highly speculated about on, whether the call should have been challenged and there should have been a timeout, ultimately icing per se Ryan Fitzgerald for the field goal. Any thoughts, first off for that and the naysayers or everybody that's got to say we iced our own kicker?
You got 14 extra yards for a kicker who's not very good. You take that every fucking time, and it's not close. It's his own fucking fault for kicking the field goal after the whistle. That's what he gets. That's kind of what happens. You kick the first one, you're going to miss the second. Don't kick it when you hear the whistle. But if I'm Mike, you do that analytically 9 times or 10 times out of 10. Probably 20 times out of 10. There was nothing wrong that he did on that call at all. And anyone who disagrees is a fucking moron, shouldn't be able to watch football.
Yeah, I think it's wrong. I'm not with the crowd who is saying, oh, we iced our own kicker. Like 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100 times, a head coach is going to do that when they know they're right. And there's no reason to keep it that way. And like you said, he kicked it after the whistle was blown. It was a practice shot. He knew what the deal was when he kicked it. So, and then coming into that moment, I don't really think he even felt that iced. You shouldn't feel that way. He just ended up missing the kick, which happens in college football, and especially with an unproven young kicker who is not ready for the moment. That happens. He was ready for the moment to send it to overtime, but not necessarily in the moment to win it. So that was a big thing. But keep digging in a little bit here more for me, Ben, on what you were able to see from the game. What are things that you really appreciated, things that you got out of it, or things that you were disappointed on?
Well, to start, I know I said, I wasn't super excited about the D-line going into last week's podcast. So I wrote an apology note to all of the defensive linemen. And I wrote, to Jermaine Johnson Jr., Quashawn Fuller, Derek McClendon Jr., Fabian Lovett, Robert Cooper, Malcolm Ray, Kier Thomas, Marcus Cushney, I would like to formally apologize. On last week's show, I said the D-line did not excite me, and aside from Jermaine Johnson Jr., there were no names that really stuck out to me. I said I was not super excited or confident in the D-line unit, and I said I wanted to see it until I got excited. Well, we fucking saw it, fellas. I saw it. Everyone around me saw it. You guys kicked the absolute piss out of that fucking Notre Dame offensive line. The big corn farmers. Every O-line they keep churning them out. You kicked their fucking ass. You made me and everyone else at that game proud to be a Seminole watching that D-line performance. That's coming more. We'll get to the Adam Fuller apology later in the season if things continue.
I'm sure it's appreciative, for people watching it and everything. And, we were wrong. We're going to live up to that. If we call somebody out, we're going to live up to our words and, apologize for the shit that we said wrong. We're going to live up to our wrongs in this. And that's something that we're doing here. And I was wrong too. Ben isn't the only fucking person who was wrong in our podcast. I was all over Chris Marv's ass. Okay, for good reason when it comes to recruiting. Yes, it's still understood. Everybody can still be over Marv's ass when it comes to recruiting. That's fine. But I was all over his ass to begin with, even with coaching. And boy, did these fucking linebackers show out. I owe an apology to the whole linebacking core. I owe a whole apology to Chris Marv and his coaching ability because boy, did those guys come to play. Kalen DeLoach, one of my big surprises from the game. Kalen DeLoach flying all over the field, filling holes, filling gaps, making tackles, looking a lot faster than I have ever seen him in a Florida State uniform, has been absolutely incredible to see in the first game of the year, especially against the speed and the talent that Notre Dame has. I saw him consistently coming up, making hits, consistently stretching the ball to the outside to force the guy out. He was good in coverage even. There's some lapses here and there, but that's bound to happen in game one. It should be corrected as the season goes on, but Kalen DeLoach did a good job. I've got kind of a bit of a gripe with Amari Gaynor and his tackling. He did not tackle well, in my opinion, or necessarily cover well in this first game. And he was the guy I was hyping up in the linebacker core moving into this first game of the year, and he kind of let me down a little bit. But everybody else in linebacker core just showed up. Lundy, Dix, no matter who was in there, really showed that they were capable of being that guy that can fill a hole. Run defense looks extremely, extremely bright moving forward. I love it. Holding especially one of the best running backs in the nation, or supposed to be this season, to what he was able to be held to. But both of their running backs were really good, being held to I think they were under 60 yards for the whole game combined. Under 70, excuse me. For the whole game, those two guys are extraordinarily good running backs. And for us to be able to do that, it really relies heavily on those linebackers being able to fill those holes that are there, even though the defensive line tries to take them up. So it's really positive that our front eight, ultimately, our front eight guys look really fucking good when they're in the box up against run. And I'm really looking forward to that. I think we got a little bit of work to do on the defensive end when it comes to the pass. I didn't think it was terrible, but there were a couple lapses, not very much, but it was just better thrown balls. Ultimately, turn your head to the ball, which we did, and that's something we've griped on in the past. And I don't want to be nitpicky because they were turning their heads, but it's about finding the ball once you do turn your head. And once they find the ball, they'll be good. That one touchdown, I remember it was on Travis J and another guy in the back. It was just a better play on the offensive side. You couldn't do anything about it.
I know.
I was sitting next to a Notre Dame fan at the bar, and I literally just looked at him. I was like, nothing you can do about that from our end. He was like, nope. He was like, that was just a great play overall on both sides, and we just ended up winning it.
I was in the stands and I watched it because I guess I was on like the 30, 35-yard line, opposite end zone where it went, so we could all see it. And me and like 8 other guys around me just kind of stood up and just yelled, "Turn your head!" He did not turn his head. I don't think it would have mattered. He maybe got a little PBU, but it was a dime. So pull up that. I got something to say about that.
Pull up what?
The last one. Why is Travis J so hyped?
Oh, give me a second. I'm not even looking at the comments. Why is Travis J so hyped? All right, go ahead. Run with it.
The kid's fucking talented. He's probably the best defensive back prospects we've had since Derwin James. He came in to play as a safety, and he's playing his first game at corner at Florida State. He played 7 games. That was his 7th game. So, he's been here a couple years. That was his 7th game. He had move-in issues and stuff like that. So, he's played 6 games last year, all at safety. Now he's starting his first game at corner, and the other quarterback's actually throwing dimes. He's going to be just fine. Let's relax on the Travis J. Snyder. Let's give him a couple of games to adjust to corner, which is by far the hardest position in football to play.
Yeah, not to mention he's still learning a bit. I think you had mentioned that he didn't get to play a whole lot last year. But I think he did. I think he did decent. I think there's a couple lapses in his judgment on exactly what's happening. But that's to be the case with a young player. If he was able to play all the season before when he was supposed to, and he had all those issues coming in, then maybe at this level he would be at that point to just be like, it's Travis J. It's what he's supposed to do. But I am very happy with the way that he did in the punt return game, the kick return game. I think he was very solid, caught the ball very cleanly, especially with guys in his face. So I don't necessarily understand why there's been so much hate towards Travis J. Yeah, there's some things he can clean up, things he can be better at. But overall, I think he had a clean game, especially when it came to the return game. Shouldn't put too much hate on Travis J up to this point.
I don't think there's anyone that you can put hate on after that game, really. I mean, you can hate the kicker because he's been bad for a while, but he also did nail a 47-yarder to send us overtime, so he's got that going for him.
Yeah,
and he made
absolutely.
a 50-yarder that would have taken the lead, and then he just shanked it. I was like, sucks to suck, but oh well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then anybody else on the defense you want to highlight real quick? Obviously, Jermaine Johnson, won or was named the ACC Defensive Lineman of the Week by the ACC. Dude's legit. I think we all had this expectation that he was going to be the fucking dude when he came in and gonna obviously be an improvement and a better option at the defensive end position over a former 5-star Joshua Kando and a former 4-star and Janorius Robinson, and he showed out like he was supposed to. But any guys outside of him that really showed out for you on the defensive side of the ball?
Quashon Fuller. Well, yeah, I didn't think he'd make much noise this year. We kind of forgotten about him, but he looked good out there. I saw one where he just smoked the left guard or left tackle and just went by him, got him on the, I guess it was a sack or hit. Yeah, it was a sack, and it was just he showed a lot of flashes. The development is definitely there.
Yeah, I think a lot of the guys who don't necessarily get the pop plays, or the guys that get the recognition for making those big plays, the sacks, if you will, are kind of the guys we underlook a lot of the time. We got the pressure of the QB finally. Yeah, that's big. Quashon Fuller finally being able to get to the quarterback after a long time of him not being able to is huge for him. So that's awesome, being able to see Quashon Fuller finally get to it. I think he even surprised himself. Even he was just so happy for himself, and he was just also happy for everybody else, which is awesome to see that we're seeing that on just overall as a team, not even on the defensive side of the ball, but those guys in the middle. You know, when you talk about the Robert Coopers or guys like that, I'm trying to think of who else is back there in the trenches, but.
Love it.
Yeah, love it. The guys who don't get the recognition, they don't get the sacks necessarily. They looked really good. I'm very proud of them and what they were able to do. But let's move over to the offensive side of the ball here, buddy, and I'll let you take it away with that. And we'll get to the biggest question of all once we get to the end of the offense. I don't want to necessarily dig into that first. So when we dig into this offense, give me, just everything else besides, the position that we're all talking about.
We've got running backs, fellas. We've got some fucking dogs back there. They all look good. I think every running back that got a carry got over 5 yards a touch. Ja'Kai Douglas is making plays. We're like, that's a name we haven't heard in a while. We're like, kind of, why is he on the depth chart? He's out here making plays. He's fast. We saw it on the touchdown pass from Jordan Travis. McLean, I wish I could find the video. There's one. It was on Corbin's 89-yard touchdown run. That man was just looking for people to block. He was looking left.
Give me, when's the last time we've seen a wide receiver that gave a shit about blocking, yet alone just stood out as a blocker down the field?
I don't remember, because the last time it was, I didn't give a shit about wide receivers blocking. I was that young.
Yeah, but it's something fucking good to see. I will say that.
I wanted to get a jersey of McLean after that game. Getting 11 for JJ and McLean, I was like, these guys are going to be good. McLean will be starting by the end of the year. Helton, he's still the number one guy, I think. Parchment was a little disappointed. His blocking was pretty meh. Wasn't great. He didn't have the impact I thought he would at first, but I don't know. I guess they took away our deep threat, and we were running the ball more effectively, so we didn't have to fucking throw it long to him. He did get that touchdown, 1 reception, 8 yards, and TD, so got me those 6.4 fantasy points. That was fun. But, yeah. Tight ends, I know Mike loves to use them. They didn't really surprise me much. Offensive line, got some work to do. Run blocking is great. Pass blocking, not so much.
Yeah, definitely. Looking at it, Parchment was kind of, sliding down my board of people to talk about as the game went on until he had that touchdown. Then I didn't really kind of made up for anything that he did wrong or didn't do in the game, because he didn't really do a whole lot wrong. He just didn't do a whole lot, and that comes to blocking and making plays. He just didn't do anything. Outside, keeping out there, Helton, go up and get it at his size, man. I love it. There's another deep ball thrown tonight, that night by Travis, underthrown once again, and Helton just goes up and gets it at his size. Incredible guy, is just going to give you it all no matter what it is. So can't really hate on him. And then McLean, big fucking fan of McLean, dude. We've talked about his blocking, but the one pass he did catch over the middle on that slant over the middle was so clean and so smooth. And then once he caught the ball and took off in stride, it was just like nobody could keep up with him, even though he eventually got tackled. It's incredible at the young of age that he is, just a freshman coming in, that he looks like that. He just looks like he's the speed above everybody else at the collegiate level. I'm
He's like
super excited to see what he provides moving forward with us.
he's like a Calvin Johnson build with Antonio Brown movement, just big, fast, and then just smooth, good route running, just able to get the ball and make plays.
Yeah, it's about damn time that Dugans has finally had some dudes to work with. You know, like he hasn't necessarily had those guys to work with outside of maybe Terry, but I mean Terry was just a deep shot threat anyways, couldn't really do much more than that other than get his guy with his length and his speed with down the field, which is whatever. But Terry didn't give a fuck about blocking, nobody else gave a fuck about blocking, and now Dugans has kind of turned this fucking wide receiver room around a little bit, and it's nice to see. The one issue I do have with the wide receiver room, and tell me if you agree with me with this or not, is when it comes to Ontario Wilson. What are we gonna expect out of him? And is he gonna ever show up?
I mean, I'm not really concerned with like the way he played. Like he didn't play bad or anything. He kind of reminded me of Parchment. He didn't play bad. He didn't contribute like we thought he would. I think he's gonna be more of a I think he's gonna be more of what Terry was last year, more of a deep ball threat. I don't know if he's a guy that's gonna run slants across the middle because I think you're gonna see Parchment and Wilson be our two big deep ball threats. Maybe Helton with his speed. But he's not going to get slants across the middle like Helton and McClain are going to get. I don't know. We've never seen him run. We haven't seen how shifty he is, or if he's able to break tackles or make plays. Just get to the sticks every time. Only time I've ever seen him make a play is a big jump ball towards the end, which he's good at. But what else is there to his game? That's kind of what I want to see.
Yeah, I think absolutely.
I don't think it's for McClain switches over to his position, passes him up on the depth chart, and we're starting Helton, Parchment, and McClain.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens because we still have Brian Robinson back there too, in that wide receiver room. And then it was just the most concerning to me with Pokey. He's been around for a bit, and I'm expecting him to come around and kind of show out. Burrell, obviously, like Luke's saying right here, we're waiting for him. At some point, he's going to have to become a threat as well, especially when it comes to red zone opportunities. I feel like Burrell, being our biggest wide receiver on the depth chart, is at some point going to have to come out and make a big play for us in the red zone, and he eventually will. So it'll be interesting to see what we do with our wide receiver room. We have so many pieces that we can move around. Like you said, tight ends were what we expected. Jordan Wilson was in there when we expected us to block, and then Cameron McDonald was in there when we expected to throw the ball, and that was good. A little bit of a depth chart adjustment here. Ja'Kai Douglas has been moved to a tailback position, and Darian Williamson, is moved from tailback position out to wide receiver after what he was able to do on that little shovel pass from Mackenzie Milton. Not a lot to talk about with those two other than obviously Ja'Kai Douglas's big touchdown catch that he almost didn't fucking have, but thank God he held on to the ball, so that was good. But going back to the running back room, I really like where we're at in the running back room. Really, really fucking like it. Jay Sean Corbin getting back to what he was supposed to be when he first came here after that knee injury, but finally being able to comfortable enough to be able to get back to his speed when he was at Texas A&M and as a high recruit is amazing to see. Dude rush for 144 yards on 15 carries. Absolutely crazy. And then you got a great backups there with Toa, and then of course Trayshawn Ward, who looks like a fucking mini Devontae Freeman, which is what everybody on Twitter is saying, which I completely agree with. Just the way he runs the ball looks exactly like 8, and he wears number 8, and it's so fucking fun to watch.
I told you before the season started, I said running back was our best positional unit, and I'm starting to think I'm right. Well, I know I'm right. I think other people are starting to agree with me. There you go. That fast. I didn't think he could move like that. I thought he kept pulling away. I thought he was going to get caught, and he just kept making the gap larger. I was like, oh shit, he's going to fucking score.
I thought he was a middle gap guy. Like he could just run through a gap and get you like 4 to 6 yards, and that's what he was good for. Like that's what I had imagined. And then I just see him being patient in the backfield and just waiting, and then bouncing it once his block hits, and he's just gone for a 12-yard gain. And I'm like, dude, what the hell? Where did this come from? But they're doing something right in that backfield there. That all credit is due to Coach Yak getting these guys back and ready.
Yeah, he just turned on the Jets. That was a fun play.
Corbin is sick. Wow with it. Shout out Christian, our other co-host who is actually at work right now. Shout out to him for even coming on and joining. We love you. We miss you, brother. Yeah, Corbin's nuts, dude. I expect him to have a huge year. But to the big question at hand, Ben. Big question at hand here. Who's going to be our quarterback moving forward? Jordan Travis, Mackenzie Milton, both showed us a little bit. One showed us more in a shorter period of time than another in the longer period of time. What are your thoughts on each of them? What do they need to improve on? Each of them need to improve on. And who do you see us moving forward with as our starting quarterback in the future?
Okay, well, they both played solid games at the least. KZ played a little bit better. I think we can all agree with that. He got the offense going more. But Jordan Travis did not play a bad game. He made some good throws. We all saw it. The throw to Ja'Kai Douglas, he was making good throws. Travis, he needs to get rid of the ball a little faster. That was why the offensive line looked so much better when Mackenzie Milton was in. He was dropping back, and he was getting it out real fast. Travis, he's indecisive at times. I think he overthinks it. I think he just gotta trust his gut and go with it. Which I think, as Mackenzie Milton as a veteran, he just kind of has that. He hasn't played in a while. He has what was I going to say? He hasn't played in a while, but he still played for a longer amount of time starting quarterback. So he's just kind of that. It's there for him. He's used to it. I think if you saw Travis, gave him another year, he'd make those decisions as well. And that's a good point. We don't know how good he would play. Like he came in, there was a change of pace, and the Notre Dame defense would have had to adjust. I'm sure if KZ had started 3 quarters and Travis came in for 4 quarters, things would look pretty similar because they're going to have to adjust for the run game.
Right. So based off that question, I think I saw it portrayed on Twitter by one of the big networks, maybe 247 or SI or somebody like that, saying that Florida State's they're just going to keep their opponents guessing. You never know which one's going to come in. You never know which one's going to be able to produce. And I think a lot of the things that they're saying are true and they're actually right. And I think we should maintain that. Because both of these guys have the confidence in one another, and Mike Norvell has the confidence in both of them. Kenny Dillingham has the confidence in both of them moving forward that no matter who he feels that he has to put in to start the game, he doesn't have to stick with one of them because even if he takes one of them out, they don't really give a shit as long as the team wins. They care about the other guy so much that in the team so much that it doesn't matter who's playing the position as long as they're successful and the team is making an effort to win. That's all they care about, both of them. I mean, we saw it on national TV when Mike Norvell had them both up against each other, and they were just showing nothing but love. And, I mean, Jordan was the first to congratulate Mackenzie when he came off the field. So I think moving ahead in this direction is a lot different than a lot of 2 QB sets that you see happen in college football because these guys truly love each other and truly love the team that they're on.
Yeah, you got 2 guys that can win you a football game. So I don't think anytime soon we're going to see a definitive starter. I think we're going to rotate them in and out, get a feel for who's playing better, and roll with them. Like I said before, Notre Dame game, they didn't really do that. They kept Travis until they had to put Milton in. But I think now that Milton's taking some hits and he knows that he can take those and withstand like a little bit of force, and he's got a little more confidence now that his leg is still fine after a game. He even said the pain management wasn't as bad as he thought. I think we're going to see a lot more just rotating, see who's comfortable and roll with them because it really depends on the situation. There are some situations where you're going to want Travis. There's some situations where you're going to want Milton. They're both really good at what they do. And also, I think Travis, he just needs I don't know if it's not a lack of confidence. It's more indecisiveness. Just throw the football, man. Like, I feel like he's doing too much with his legs. Drop back, throw the football. You're a quarterback. That's what you do. We got faith in you. You threw some really good passes last year. You're throwing better passes this year. Drop back, make a couple good throws, get that confidence rolling. I think you're going to see a lot more really good passes from Travis this year because I really do think he's developed a ton under Mike Norvell. If you look at what he was coming in under Willie and what he is now, there's a huge difference in just the way he composes himself and the way he's playing.
Yeah, and we'll stick with Travis here, and then we'll get into a little bit more of KZ here in a minute. But for Travis, I think the biggest question mark comes in and is dude lost all of his confidence. We've known about this. You know, when he was at Louisville, he didn't have the love for the game anymore. He didn't really enjoy playing the game of football anymore. And Kenny Dillingham, Mike Norvell had to build his confidence back up to the point to where he just fought through it and got to that point. And now he's our quarterback, our starting quarterback. So it's very interesting to see him. He's having fun out there. So first and foremost, that's all you really want to see out of Travis, him having fun out there, making plays, which he can do. He's very good at making plays out of nothing. I mean, multiple scrambles in and out of the pocket where he shouldn't have had anything, which we have come to know from Travis. You know, that's what we get with him. The question marks I have with him is his decision-making skills. He's not a very good decision maker. There's multiple times where he's running out of the pocket. You can throw the ball out of bounds and save the play for the next down and end up throwing a pick. Happened 3 times ultimately. That was what was going on. Luke coming in said Trav just needs to get more comfortable in the pocket and now panic as soon as it's about to collapse. Absolutely. He immediately drops his eyes from being downfield to what the rush is coming in front of him. And that makes him make mistakes when he scrambles outside the pocket and tries to make a play downfield because he doesn't know where the defenders are at.
I mean, can you blame the guy? That's all he's had to do for the past 3 or 4 years he's been playing football. He's had no line or no time. So I don't know. But yeah, I wouldn't even say it's decision making. I say it's more, I guess it's indecisive.
I mean, it's a combination of both, right? It's a combination.
Do I run? Do I throw? Because he knows he can do both. And then it gets to the point where he's taking too long, so he has to run it or he throws it too late. Like I saw one where the shovel pass was in play, but he decided to tuck it and run because he waited too late. And then he threw it downfield and it was a good play, but we had a legal lineman or an eligible receiver down the field. So he just kind of got to.
Well, it's also like I think it was a early on in the game, maybe a second down. We were backed up because the whole first quarter we were pretty much backed up, you know, towards inside our own 20 or whatever. And he throws the ball after he scrambles out to the right to Jayshon Corbin on a little dump, and Jayshon Corbin gets taken down for like a 3-4 yard loss. When outside to the left, if he would have just scrambled, look out to the left, Cam McDonald is wide open out there in the flat, and it could have been a beautiful gain. It's just those little things, you know, but that's what it comes to. You know, I mean, Bobby said it best. You know, you go from losing big to losing small to winning small to winning big, and that's what we gotta progress to. And ultimately, in this game, it's winning or it's losing small, and that's a lot better than we were last year. So I think if there's a little adjustments here and there, especially when it comes to J Trav, that's something that can be, you know, fixed and moved on and, you know, improved on ultimately as the year goes on. But let's move over to KZ. Dude should not even be on the field, shouldn't be playing football, probably shouldn't even be running. I don't even remember how many times whoever was opposite of Greg McElroy on the call on Sunday night that was calling the game said that he should just be in pain just by walking based off of what his doctor Levy said. And it's just a miracle. So honestly, seeing him come in, be able to produce, lead us on 2 scoring drives, very critical drives that we needed, is huge. The dude's just a gamer ultimately. Dude fucking gets it. Dude fucking knows how to play. Dude knows how to fucking toss the rock. There was that third down where he threw it over the middle of the field, over the top of a linebacker in between a tight and inside a tight coverage, and while he was being rushed. And that shows some balls to me, dude. I love what I've seen from Mackenzie Milton. I don't know if he's going to be our starter moving forward. Maybe give him another week or 2 because of our schedule until you kind of put him into that position to take over and lead, because I don't think there's any reason for us to do it at this point, because we can still win with Travis even if he makes mistakes. So but big fan of KZ. I was not expecting that to happen at that moment in that time of the game, but it did, and it helped us come back from an 18-point deficit. And I'm really happy with what he was able to do. And even though he didn't throw the touchdown pass or anything to get us within 3 points to tie it, he was just so happy that he was back on the field and led a touchdown drive, the one that Trayshawn Ward ended up scoring on, that you see him run immediately over to Trayshawn Ward when Trayshawn Ward comes around from scoring. And he's just so excited for him. And then Travis is the first one to congratulate him once he comes out the field. And they're just so happy with each other, man. I love it. I love what we got going here.
Damn, I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, I blanked for a second. But yeah, I was gonna say that something about KZ. Oh yeah, that shovel pass. That shovel pass was sexy.
The
I was.
patience, the patience.
That's what he doesn't panic when the pocket starts to collapse. It kind of all comes in slow motion to him, which I think is more of a veteran thing, which I think Travis can learn. But I do think healthy, if he can play a whole game, I think against Wake and like the tougher opponents, I think he's got to be the guy going forward, and then have Travis come in for some drives. But that's just, I don't know. I love Travis, but there's just something different about the way KZ was playing and the way the offense was clicking with him.
Yeah, and I mean the offense clicks either way, but it looked like it clicked a little bit better with KZ back there. It looked like it was a little bit smoother. The one thing on offense that I do have to bitch about is the snaps. We got to get those faster. We got to get those cleaner. It slows down the whole offensive possession each and every time. It's just got to come quicker. It's got to get back there in a cleaner pace. So that is something I will bitch about. But moving forward, I don't see a problem running either of those two quarterbacks out there and then replacing one of them if they're not playing well and giving the defense a little bit of a different option. But, moving forward, I think we see Travis for a couple more games and then maybe third, fourth game before we get into, that UNC North Carolina UNC Clemson, 3-week period of time that we play those guys. I think you see a guy absolutely establish himself and then maybe just mix in the other here and there. It'll be interesting. At that point, I think, Travis will be the guy up to that point, and then we'll see KZ take over and be the guy once everybody has solidified themselves, especially on the offensive line. A little bit of work to do there as well, especially when it comes to offensive pass pro.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have a designated starter until probably after Clemson. I think Wake's going to be the start of that competition. We're going to see how they go. Wake, Power 5. Jacksonville State doesn't really do anything. We're just going to – Milton probably won't even play much that game. He'll get a drive or two, but they're just going to make sure he stays healthy. We'll get Jay Trav. We'll probably have Chuba in the second half. And then Wake Forest, Louisville, UNC, Clemson. That's when that competition starts. And then after Clemson, I think there's going to be a clear-cut guy who's just been playing better, who the offense obviously works better with, and that's who your starter is going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I think I'm seeing it a little bit, further up the line, a little bit closer to those games leading up to them instead of afterwards. But more saying, please start Milton, big Milton guy over there. Any last words on the Notre Dame game? I'm very happy with the play calling, if I may say so myself. I know a lot of people have given Norvell some shit for, going for it on the fourth down on our own 30-something yard line. But, analytics say something else there, and I think it's a good play call. And ultimately, it didn't really cost us a whole lot. So I don't really have a lot to bitch about when it comes to play calling. I actually am a big fan of how he play called that game. Didn't see much out of special teams, but that's going to come later down the line when we need it the most. So didn't necessarily need it. We almost had one with Ja'Kai Douglas. Luckily, it was only a 5-yard penalty instead of a 15-yard penalty. Almost could have blocked it. But anything else you got to say on the Notre Dame game?
Don't run that fucking Wildcat shit ever again. That shit, I just gave me flashbacks. Pissed me off. Give me flashbacks to Virginia Tech. Give me flashbacks to Wake Forest. Give me flashbacks to Virginia. We just did not like it. But aside from that, I was very happy to finally watch a Florida State team fight back and not give up when they're down and play a competent football game for 60 minutes plus a little extra. We're definitely, if we got our coach, we're heading in the right direction. And it's funny because you'll see on Twitter, everyone's like moral victories. The only people who are saying that are the people that can't accept that we're heading in the right direction. Because every national football analyst, the sensible rival fans, casual college football fans, diehard college football fans, they're all like, damn, Florida State impressed me that weekend. They're looking pretty good. Maybe they got something building over there. Recruits are taking notice. But you got those couple little rival fans who are like, moral victory you. Like, okay, let's relax. We just watched our team play good for the first time in like 5 years. We're not allowed to be happy. We're not happy.
And I mean, you're talking about all these national people. You talk about the Kirk Herbstreits, the David Pollacks. I mean, anybody from 247. Everybody just completely blown away with the effort and the difference that we looked like compared to the last 3 years at least. You know, like it's just incredible. And we can see it ourselves because we fucking watch these games on like everybody else who's watching the fucking show. We watch these games week in, week out, whether we suck or whether we don't, you know, like either we're going to black out one night because we suck ass and we're just going to drink a bottle of Jack to ourselves in the tub, or we're going to black out because we're a fucking good football team again at the bar. You know, like that's what we do. We're Florida State fans. We're very passionate about our football team, and we watch it even if we suck. You know, if we suck, we watch it. If we're good, we watch it. It doesn't matter. You know, we're still going to be there. And the fact that a guy like, I mean, I point to Kirk Herbstreit in particular because everybody gives him so much shit for giving us shit. And I'm like, I don't understand why everybody's got to give Kirk Herbstreit shit for giving us shit, because I give us shit the same way Kirk Herbstreit gives us shit, if not more. You know, like Kirk Herbstreit has been on record being like, I love when Florida State's good. I'd rather have Florida State be a good fucking football team. You know, it makes college football better when Florida State's a good football team. So it's going to be amazing once we are back at that level. We're working our way there now. We just got to keep it up moving forward. Really looking forward to what we got. But I'm tired of people saying that shit. A moral victory this, a moral victory that. We don't take moral victories. You know, Florida State, you don't come to Florida State to take a moral victory. But sometimes you do get a moral victory out of a close loss, especially after the past 3 years that we've had. And the biggest part of that is being able to maintain that level of play and that level of want to win past a hard loss like Notre Dame. There's the pick, and then we can take it off.
I'm not delusional. They would run down that clock and just eat us up. They're just slow paced. They're surprisingly well coached and probably a better O-line than Notre Dame has.
Yeah. And speaking of O-linemen, Notre Dame had an O-lineman have a torn meniscus after our game. I don't want to be inconsiderate here, but I can't tell you the last time that we played a football game and we actually hurt an opposing player.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I'm not wrong. Is that inconsiderate of me?
No, because you're not happy about it. I mean, it's a little inconsiderate. It's not the worst thing you've said.
When's the last time we fucking hurt somebody on the other team?
Probably Brad Kaya when fucking, not Matthew Thomas, or was it Matthew Thomas? No, it was a fucking linebacker. Emmett, no, I forget who it was. It was.
Yeah, see, you can't even fucking remember.
Well, let me knock Brad Kaya's tooth out and just gave him a fucking concussion.
Oh, that doesn't count, dude. Like an actual fucking injury.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I think that was more. Okay, well, I don't know because I don't keep up with the other team's injuries. Like,
probably 2014, 2013, maybe 2016.
I only celebrate injuries on one person in college football, or two people. It's Josh Griffiths and Sam Howell.
And with that, we'll move on to our next topic, Josh Griffiths. So we talked about it a little bit last week. There's more reports. We said we were going to talk about it anymore, but this shit just keeps getting even crazier, boys and girls. What the fuck is wrong with this dude?
Dude, people were like, why do you hate Griffiths so much? I was like, there's just something about him, dude. No fucking dude who has a mullet calling himself big country that shouldn't be playing at a D1 football school is going to be a good person. He probably – I'm not going to say that because I can't say that on air because it'll probably get taken down or flagged. But he's a bad person. He's not a good person. He went up and, like, started stalking his girlfriend, like, tried to break into her house. Like, what the fuck is that?
Did break into his house.
Did break into her house. Even better. Yeah, Josh is well and truly in the mud, and I really hope he stays in the mud. Corey, you just missed it. My injury wish list, it was Sam Howell and Josh Griffiths. That's it. And I don't even hate Sam Howell that much anymore since we beat him, so it's really just Josh Griffiths. So I'll take Sam Howell off because I'm a good person. Like it's just Josh Griffiths, and it's gonna be. I'm not watching some community college shit, but if I see a tweet that pops up and says, "Hey, Josh Griffiths tore an ACL, had his leg amputated," I'm gonna tweet it with LMAO in all caps. Like, oh, I have no shame in that.
Yeah, dude, but what a piece of shit. I have a little bit of insight, little sources here and there about the whole situation, but everything that everybody's been able to read on the report is true. That's what happened. Dude broke into his ex-girlfriend's house in Nashville, busted in 2:00 in the morning, obviously fucked up off his mind, whatever. The dumbass, when she finally got out of the house and he kept her phone so she couldn't call anybody or whatever, whenever she finally was able to get out of the house when he wasn't watching or looking or whatever, she ran, found a cop, brought him back. Motherfucker was still in the house.
I mean, you could just
you could have had at least a sense of mind like, fuck, maybe I should get out of here. But he didn't have that fucking thought in his head because he's a fucking dumbass, a fucking crazy psychopathic dumbass who is for good reason off of our fucking team right now because he would bring it down.
Yeah. So everything that you can read, what you can't read, it's worse. It just gets worse and worse. Just know
it's worse and worse. I don't want to put anybody's personal aspects out there, personal stuff out there, so I'm not going to because that's not my place. But I know Ben knows. Christian.
We also know what happened at Florida State. Why?
Christian knows. So we can't tell you guys that because it's not our place to. Wish we could, but unfortunately, we are semi-moral people.
I will be the first person to tell you.
Semi-moral people around this show. We are degenerate assholes, but we are semi-moral people around here. We're not gonna put people on blast or put their names out there. So, no, I have never heard that. But thank you. I'm a good-looking dude, so thank you. I appreciate that. I mean,
there's more trying to comment.
Yeah, Moore's trying to take me out of dinner first, bro. Take me out of dinner first, bro. I need that.
Nice Long John Silver.
Little poor right now, so Long John Silver is a little long way. That's beautiful. But that's enough of Josh Griffiths talk. We'll move on. And we got Jacksonville State this weekend, man. Any thoughts on them? I know they just lost 31 to UAB. I don't know a whole lot about them, but give me what you think should happen, what we should expect. Student section sold out for Jacksonville State game, so that's great moving forward for selling out Doak every single weekend. But your thoughts, buddy, moving forward?
The student section should be gone by halftime. We should be kicking the fuck out of them and just beating the absolute shit out of them. They just got shut down.
I'm expecting a 2013-esque. But 2013 was my freshman year. I'm expecting a 2013-esque game here.
I'm hoping so. If we don't win by 28 or more, I think we should all be a little disappointed. But if we're up by 28 and they're just in garbage time and they keep scoring, and then our offense keeps scoring. If we're up by we're just kicking their ass and they have they show no signs of life and we show no signs of giving up or letting them get life, we should be happy. But I think the spread's going to be 29.5, 30.5, 31.5, something like that. But I wouldn't be
rightfully so. But apparently, Odd Shark doesn't. We're only a 5-point favorite against them.
They don't have a line. The projected score is 23 to 19. I'm like, okay, well, there's a reason Odd Shark's record all the time is losing, and it shows.
Yeah, definitely. I don't even know who plays for Jacksonville State. I don't know anything about them. I know we played them last year.
Lives in Australia.
I know we played them last year. I know I was at that game and I put a money line bet on them. Once they went up 14-0 or whatever the fuck happened and lost money, but whatever. I didn't give a fuck at that point, and we came back and won after we put Travis in. That's all I know. I don't know anybody who plays for them. I know they do give us a hard time pretty much every year we play them. I remember back. I don't even remember what year it was, but
we played them.
We played them at one point, and they were very close to beating us back at the end of Bobby's career. So take it with a grain of salt, but I don't expect us to come out flat up against them like we have in the past. This is a different team, different culture on the board. I don't care who we put out there at quarterback. I fully expect Chuba Purdy to come out there probably midway through the third quarter. Hopefully that is the case, and that is what happens. But I fully expect Florida State probably win by. It better be by 3 or more touchdowns at least.
24 I'll be happy with, or I'll be okay with. 28 happy with. Anything under 24 is a disappointment. I also agree with Luke there. If we concede more than 24, Fuller's proper. If we concede more than 21 with our with our 2 deep, yeah. But if we put our practice squad out and they start scoring, that's fine. I don't really care that much. But if the 2 deep's giving up more than 21, we got some problems. And Adam Fuller was a fluke from Notre Dame game, which is why I haven't apologized to him yet. He goes and beats Clemson. He gets an apology. I'll mail it to him.
Oh, and there's a promise out there. If you're in the No Game Day Discord, if you're not, go ahead and get in there. It's a great time. We love it. Why the fuck am I giving a free shout out to No Game Day? Because they have yet to bring us on. It's dumb. I don't know why, but we made a commitment here, Ben. If we beat Clemson, we are going to do a 24-hour stream. While drinking.
Yeah, we will just black out on stream 24 hours. If no one's watching, we'll still do it. But yeah, I'm kind of going for Clemson now.
Yeah, so Loki just a little bit, just win by like 3. That's fine, Clemson. You could do that.
I won't be mad. Yeah, unlike No Game Day, we will come through on our 24-hour stream. Promise.
We will do it. We're no slackers. So that'll be fun. But a little something that was thrown in here last minute by one of our fans that we asked to comment and ask any questions for us. And that question will be teams that impressed in week 1 of the college football season.
Iowa, for starters. They played, I think they were either 17 or 18, playing 17 or 18 team. Kicked the fuck out of Indiana. I thought that'd be a close game. They just shut them down. I was impressed. Who else played well that I really liked? Obviously we knew Alabama was going to do it, but they impressed me because they were the only team that looks like they had a really good offense and defense. I didn't think they'd beat them by that much, so they definitely impressed me. And we knew it was coming. Who else?
I think NC State impressed me a little bit. I think I originally thought that they would maybe have given up, a couple touchdowns to USF and not been as good, but shutting a USF team out and then being able to put up 45 points on them really impressed me, especially, with a new quarterback there at the helm.
I agree with that. Ole Miss and Texas for sure. Ole Miss shut down. I'm not gonna say it's a great Louisville offense, but based on their defense they had last year, I thought Cunningham would run all over them. They held them to 0 points at halftime. I was like, didn't think that would happen. So, Lane has impressed me. I didn't think he'd do good there. Sark, I'm high on him at Texas, and they shut down a top 25 Louisiana team, and rightfully so. They looked pretty good out there. I mean, I didn't get to watch them, but just looking at – I know I'm supposed to box score watch, but I was just kind of following it up, and they were never in a close game situation, so they impressed me. I have them in my top 10.
Yeah, I'm there with Luke right here talking about Virginia Tech. Very, 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 very impressed with them going up against North Carolina. Obviously, they were at home. They had Enter Sandman rocking, the whole packed crowd. So they impressed me. Not overly impressive considering how shitty UNC's offensive line and quarterback play looked. But, Virginia Tech, obviously impressive. UCLA, impressive, too, with what they were able to do. And then especially against LSU. So that's a big win for them. Luke also coming here, say Coral for Heisman, going off your Ole Miss pick. So I like Ole Miss. They were very impressive as well. They look like a team to be reckoned with. And then any disappointments, I'll just ask that since we were going off of impressing teams off of week 1. Any disappointing teams in week 1?
UNC lost me money. Ohio State almost lost me money. And that's also it was a tough environment against a good Minnesota team, so I'm giving them one more week to work that out, or a week or two. So I'm not going to say they disappointed me yet, but they're right there. They're close. Oregon, not what we're going to say they disappointed me. They disappointed me, but I don't think long term they will. I think they were looking ahead to Ohio State. Washington was just, there are no words to say how disappointing that is. Like, it's just pathetic and sad. I feel like that's just not, it's bad. I can't even talk about how bad it is. LSU really didn't disappoint me. I knew they were going to be shit. There was one more I was thinking of. Oh, Iowa State. Honestly, I'm a little disappointed, even though I think Campbell was hiding the playbook and just ran nothing. They still disappointed me. It's Northern Iowa. They should have won more than 16-10. You should be able to run the ball with the best running back in the country every play and put up 21 points. So, not great by Iowa State, but I think they're going to rebound this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna take two of our rivals in Miami and Florida. I'm gonna take both of them. Very big disappointments. Miami came in with a lot of talk, a lot of improvement with Derek King. Expect him to come back off that injury and be able to at least try and compete with Alabama, and wasn't even able to. That's a big disappointment moving forward for them. And then, specifically speaking outside of, Florida State, I'm not going to take, our bias into it here at all. And then Florida, only winning by 21 points to FAU against the Willie Tiger team. Questionable to me. You beat Florida State when Willie Tiger was our head coach by more than 21 every time you played them. So an FAU team is not a team that you just beat by 21 points. In my opinion, you should beat them by much more than that, especially at home. And that just gives me a lot of confidence moving forward on our schedule, when we play Miami and Florida, which is good for us. But they're disappointing in the fact that I thought they would both be better teams, outside of the fact that I don't think Emory Jones is any good of a quarterback at all.
No one can get it. And I mean no one, not even the wide receiver.
Yeah, exactly. But, it's awful. You can't do that shit. So it is what it is. And
Anthony Richardson will be starting by the time we play him. But, yeah, I know Florida was trying to, probably close the playbook, and they're going to do the same thing versus USF because they got Bama. Bama's going to kill them. But, FAU dropped a pick six that would have made it a 14-7 game right before half. If you're I don't care what you play, you could run power O every time, and you should not be up by 14 or 7 at halftime versus a Willie Taggart-led FAU squad. I would be disappointed. You can spin it all you want. I mean, as a Florida fan, I would be a little disheartened by the performance we saw as a Gator fan.
Absolutely. I would be too. I'm looking forward to both of those games come this season. But our favorite fucking portion of this show, Scared Money, Don't Make Money. All three of our locks for all three of your co-hosts tonight. Yes, we're missing a co-host in Christian, but we always throw his out here. And we're going to put his first, as always, since he is not here with us tonight. Ben, let the people know what are Christian's locks for this weekend.
He's got NC State minus 2.5 versus Mississippi State. He's got Pitt minus 2 at Indiana. He's got Iowa plus 4 on the road at Iowa State. So, I like the picks. I don't disagree with any of them. I was going to be bold and say Iowa money line was a lock, but he took that one for me, so I'm not going to be able to do it. A little underdog money line. But
yeah, I like those picks. They're not bad at all. More absolutely. Bama was an easy lock last week. I should have taken it, but didn't. I just didn't.
I thought Miami would backdoor.
I thought Miami would have probably covered that backdoor 19. It would have been nice. But I'll go with my picks here, and my three locks this week excuse me. Give me Coastal Carolina. Minus 25 points against Kansas. Kansas just beat an FCS team at home by only 3 points, and they rushed the field. They're going into a hostile environment. They're in Coastal. They're going on the road here in the second game of the year. I like Coastal a lot. They just won their first game by over 30-something points. So I like Coastal here against the Kansas team that is maybe better than last year, but still not going to be able to compete with the Coastal team here on the road. And then I've got Liberty minus 4. I like Liberty a lot this season. I like their quarterback. Malik a whole lot. Yeah, Malik's I'm a big fan of his. I think that spread is a little bit too low. I think it should probably be boosted up to 6.5, 7 points. So I feel comfortable taking those 4 points with them being at home. And then USC minus 17. I'm a big fan of Keaton Slovis, so I'm going to keep riding with USC moving forward. Maybe I go 0-3 this week. Maybe I surprise a lot of people. So it'll be interesting to see, because these aren't necessarily a lot of locks for a lot of other people, but I feel fairly confident taking these this weekend.
Yeah, so I've got, what do we have here? Oh, Corey, I have your wife blocked because she doesn't like me and she's mean to me, so I blocked her. That's why. I got Rutgers. Yeah, that's his wife. She's mean to me, so I blocked her. I'm a petty soul. Rutgers -2. They're playing at Syracuse. I'm not really impressed with Syracuse, and Shiano can fucking coach. He's good. I don't really think there's much more to say. I think Rutgers could be ranked at some point at this time in the season. No. To shout out my friend Thomas Payne here. He's a big Arkansas cover guy, so I told him all week. I told him Texas -7 was a lock, and Texas is going to do unholy things to Arkansas. I hate Arkansas. I like Texas. I don't know. It's a win-win. And just to spite you, Kansas +25 versus Coastal Carolina, because I think that you made an awful decision making that pick, because last year Coastal was better. Last year Kansas was worst. And guess what? Kansas still covered 25 points. Where's the game even being played? Is it at Coastal or at Kansas? It doesn't even matter. Let's see. Kansas, CCU, Inc. Okay, well, that's prison time. Don't need that.
I agree with you, Thomas. Thank you. Liberty -4, best pick of the weekend. Love it. Ride with it.
You told me Wisconsin was 5.5 was last week, and it was not. Let's see. Okay, so it's at Coastal Carolina. I still don't think it matters, because the Jayhawks, they're making noise and they're here to stay, baby. They're coming. They're coming back from that prominent orange.
You wanna make a separate bet, $20, me and you on that?
No, because I'm poor.
I'm poor too. How about $10?
Okay, I'll do $10.
$5. $10.
Okay,
$10. Deal. Shake on it. Shake on it.
I tried.
All right. We got it. We're shaking on a lock, boys. So either take Coastal -25 or take Kansas +25 points.
The Jayhawks.
Fans got +25. I've got -25 on Coastal. You guys ride with that for what you want to. A great night again, my brother. We appreciate everybody fucking coming into the chat tonight. Let us know on Saturday mornings if you guys want to hop in. Let us know. We appreciate guests, especially on Saturday mornings, because we just do a bunch of college football instead of mostly Florida State. So it'll be a fun time when we go into everything, and we'll just go over picks, all kinds of different shit. We'll also dig into the game as well. If you are just strictly Florida State, come in. We'll dig into that game. So it'll be fun. Yes, sir. More coming in here and saying the shampoo effect. That's exactly what we're doing, the shampoo effect. If you don't know what it is, look it up on Google. You'll know exactly what we're talking about. But we're more towards a alcohol standpoint instead of shampoo. But it's the same type of deal if you've been drinking on a Friday night before. We love y'all for coming out here. Ben, you got any shout outs or anything else you want to say before we go ahead and log off here?
Go Noles. Fuck the Cyclones. Go Hawkeyes, baby.
Yes, sir. I'm with you. I'm a Hawkeye this weekend. Big guy. I know the other Purdy's on Iowa State, but Hawkeye is going to take it this week. So, as we going to get ready to lose heavily. It's going to be a tough matchup between me and Luke. It'll be a fun one in the No Game Day fantasy league, so it'll be a fun one to watch. I'll keep my eye on it. I'm actually about to go out to the bar and watch it as we speak. So thank you guys for tuning in. And this has been another episode of Tribaholics. We see you guys on Saturday morning. Shit.